Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Student Hub Live, the Open University's live online interactive platform. Now, my name's Karen Foley, and I'm a lecturer in Learning and Teaching Innovation here at the Open University. And we're broadcasting this Refreshers Orientation programme live from campus, and I've got a range of guests who are going to tell you everything that you need to know about an OU student. Now, we've planned lots of content, but I'm sure you've got lots of questions too. So you can ask us those questions in the chat box, and we've got Michelle and Anea on the chat, and they're going to be bringing your questions to the studio. Hello, ladies. How are you today?
We're doing great, thank you. And we've already got, I think, about 56 students in the chat box, which is wonderful. We've got Paul, who's had a 9-year gap in his studies. We've got Jane from Cumbria. So it's really good. Get going. We've got people from Manchester, Warrington, all over. So it's going to be a really good session, Karen.
Yeah. Great mix of people. Lovely to see so many of you here.
Brilliant. Now, you can chat in the chat box to Michelle and Anea, and also to everybody else. You can ask any questions, you can say what's on your mind, tell us what module you're studying and how you're feeling today. Now, that's not the only way that you can tell us what you're up to. We've got some widgets or some interactive voting tools, and we've got a map so you can tell us where you are in the country. You can tell us which level you're studying and also which subject area you're studying. And also you can tell us how you're feeling right now. Now, sometimes we'll have these widgets with 3 options, and you need to put 3 things in, otherwise your results won't submit. But if you can only think of 1 or 2, that's absolutely fine. Just put a full stop in the end, and then you can also see what everybody else at home says too. Now, we've got a very packed programme, and you can see that on the website, studenthub.open.ac.uk. We're going to be welcoming you to the Open University first, talking about getting set up for your studies, show you the online tutorial room, talk about tutors and tutorials, and much, much, much more. So check it all out. You can watch as much or as little as you want. Don't forget to have regular tea breaks, as we will be here in the studio. And you can watch on catch-up also. So you don't need to take notes or anything. You can always rewind and check something out later if there's something you've missed. So please enjoy talking to everybody else in our fabulous, supportive OU community. So first, to welcome you, who have I got? None other than the Access team. My friends George Curry, John Butcher and Anactoria Clarke. So thank you all. Now, you're welcome. Everybody is very excited and a little bit nervous beginning their journey.
We're excited.
Yes, I know. So, firstly, I wonder if we can talk about what it's like being an OU student and why students should be so excited to study at the Open University. John?
Can I kick off? So I think this is a really, really exciting time, and this is really, I think, what I'm going to say is relevant for students starting on Access, maybe students starting their first level 1 module, and all OU students, really. There's 2 things for me. There's something about the excitement of engaging with your Open University materials and the learning that you're going to be doing over the next few months is something that all the research tells us really transforms people's lives, and it opens up different ways of thinking, and I think that's a really positive thing about learning at the Open University. And the second thing is, and again we know this from research as well, is engaging with OU learning and HE generally does a huge amount for people's confidence. So many of our students we know perhaps haven't studied for a while. They you know, perhaps school was a year or 2 ago. Shall I raise my eyebrows quizzically? And you know, that's difficult to come back, but people have made that brilliant decision to return to education and to start on their higher education programme. And I think people will find from reading the materials, talking to their tutor, submitting their assignments, thinking about their feedback, that their confidence that they can do it really is boosted, and that's a lovely thing that spreads throughout their lives.
No, absolutely. And we see some of those changes because we talk to students all the time, don't we, in a number of different ways through tutors. And our team here, we're involved in the curriculum, but also we teach as well, don't we? So, George, what can students expect then in terms of materials? I've seen lots of things on Facebook about people getting boxes of things, some people getting USB sticks and some people logging on to a website, so everyone gets something very, very different.
That's right. Each module that's starting will be designed in a slightly different way, and what you will find out, you will have received either an email or a letter from the module team explaining how the module that you're on works. There will almost certainly be a module website which will have some really exciting materials on. There may be some printed materials in the forms of books or readers, and there may be things like DVDs or USB sticks or various other bits and pieces, but you should have had some communication from your course team that will tell you exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. So the module website is a really good place to start if you're at all unsure, and of course you can get there via Student Home. But carrying on from what you were saying earlier, I think the best thing about being an OU student, and I'm an OU student as well, is that you just realise there's so much in the world to know, and there's so many things you can find out. And every time you find one thing out, it opens the door to 10 other things, and that journey never stops. And formally getting into education gives you a toolbox which enables you to kind of go out and find out everything that there is to know, which is just the most exciting thing possible.
Yeah. No, it is, except the more I learn, the more I'm aware I don't know.
Exactly. So you can never stop.
But that makes you a more interesting person.
Absolutely,
It does.
and aware of your parameters. Now, the chat's moving very fast, so let me explain that there are a range of different ways of engaging with the chat. On the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see different screen options. So if you'd like to engage with the chat, you can make it bigger or smaller. So just click on the option, and then there will be 3 different things that you can look at. So choose the one that's right for you, and you can change that back at any time. You might just want to enjoy the screen as well, so you can do that too. But if you do want to see what someone said and it's moving a bit quickly, there's a pin button right at the top of the chat. So you can pin it and scroll down and then see what other people have said and respond to that in your own time. Michelle and Anaya, how is everyone at home?
Oh my goodness, we have so many new students to the OU, so I'm really excited about that.
Definitely, there is a lot.
We have access students online, so that's really good too. We have students studying business and students studying arts. We have Juliet, who's back to studying after 26 years, Joy back after 30 years, and Tony, who says he's feeling really old. But I said, don't feel old, because trust me, there will be older students. No matter how old you are, there'll be someone older. So really, really nice, excited, and maybe a little bit anxious, but mostly excited.
Now, we've had some lovely emails as well in the week, and also last week at our boot camp event where we took a look at skills for study, we asked people to send in some pictures of their study buddies. Now, I wanted to bring my dog in today, but I wasn't allowed, so I've had to bring... I really wasn't allowed. So I've had to bring... Really?
You tried.
I did. I bought a statue of my dog, but we've had some lovely study buddies. Can you show us some?
Yeah, so we've got so cute here. We've got Hayley Brown, who sent in a picture of her gorgeous little Westie, a Nova, and she's also got a cat called Selim, who cuddles up to her every night. So, I mean, so cute. I mean, how would you even feel motivated and to study? Fantastic.
And we've got Byron and Byron and Tiger Lily here. And just like my cat, all over the textbooks, getting in the way. And then actually, the Tiger Lily is 27 kilograms, thinks he's a puppy, and climbs up on her lap when she's studying. So this is from Kim. So Kim, thank you for sending in your picture. Lovely animals.
Oh, we heard all about that last week, yes. And we've had some letters as well. Send us your study buddies or your study space to studenthub@open.ac.uk, and we'll put those up on our board and show everybody at home later as well. Right, now, tutors. This has been a big topic of conversation on the OU Facebook page at the moment. The tutorials are all gradually being announced, so students are finding out where their tutorials are, and a lot of them are getting in contact with their tutors. Anak, you're a tutor.
I am, yes. I teach A105, Level 1 Arts, and A229, which is Level 2 Classical Studies.
Now, what should students be doing right now, just before modules start, when they're feeling a little bit anxious? What should they do in terms of both thinking about their relationship with their tutor and also getting in touch with their tutor?
So you probably will have had an email from your tutor. If not, there will be one winging its way to you very soon, as courses start on Saturday, if they haven't already started. So if your tutor drops you an email, drop them one back. You know, just tell them a little bit about yourself, what you're looking forward to, anything you're nervous of, if you've got any additional requirements or anything that you need done slightly differently. It's a good chance to flag it up. I love hearing from my students, so I do tend to send weekly emails. Not every tutor does, but I do tend to.
I don't.
But it's really nice when, you know, I had a student on A105 who's just finished, and the poor chap is stuck with me again this year on A229. But every couple of weeks he dropped me something back and said, oh, I'm really enjoying this, or, you know, I found this difficult about the TMA, but I really liked the feedback. And that was great because it meant that I knew where he was up to, and I knew how to help him. So just kind of communicate. If there's a problem, your tutor will want to know because they can probably help.
Now, the tutor, we've got a session a little bit later with John Quill and Iman, all about the tutor relationship and how to set that up to start. But it is one of the wonderful things about the Open University that is so very different. And this whole idea of personalised feedback and really working with an individual who knows you as a student and can really help you on that journey, with perhaps other tutors as well who are working as a team, is really unique, John.
Yeah, and I think what all the, and I don't really want to talk about this, but what all the evaluations tell us is that students, when they get to the end of their module, the thing they rate most highly is their tutor and the tutor support that's been provided. And I think, as Anactoria said, and hopefully people can see, tutors are human, you know, and tutors like engagement with their students. That's why they're tutoring for the OU, really. And so I think even if students out there are, as you say, anxious or just a bit scared or a bit wary of approaching their tutor, they don't be. Please approach them. And in particular, the best thing I remember as a tutor is just getting that first message from a student, just telling something about where they've come from and why they've decided to study this particular module. That sets up a dialogue. The dialogue can then continue through the assessment feedback that tutors scrupulously complete and send to their students. So watch out for your feedback. And then it's a really lovely relationship, and in some cases, students will keep in touch for years in the future.
Excellent.
I think it's important to realise that every student that's starting this week is in the right place. Nobody needs to feel like they kind of snuck in without anyone noticing. Everyone's absolutely in the right place to learn, and they're going to be absolutely fine, and they're no different to everybody else that's starting. Everyone's nervous, everyone's excited, but everyone's in the right place, and there's nothing that you can say to your tutor that will frighten them or will scare them off or that they will think is silly. So just realise that you're legitimate, you're fine, you're a proper student, and if you've got to worry, the best thing to do is to communicate it.
That's so true, because I've been getting emails from my students this week, and I think most of them have said, I'm a little bit nervous, or I'm very nervous, and it's because of this fear of the unexpected. It is unexpected, it's completely different. So I thought it might be a good idea to talk about what to do when you're starting, because like you say, George, nobody's in the wrong place because we haven't started yet, so you can't really be behind what you haven't started. But equally, there's this anticipation, and people have got books and modules. So let's think then about things. Most of the modules are starting next week, and as you say, Anak, maybe a few have started. But what should they be doing right now? What tips can we give students about, you know, sort of getting organised?
Planning. Think about where you're going to study, think about when you're going to study. Have a little look at the study calendar. Note things like TMA submission dates, tutorial dates if you've got those already, and just really think about when you're going to do it. The chances are you've got a lot of other things going on in your life. You might have a job, you might have children, you might all sorts of things. So you need to be really realistic about when you're going to study. And I think that's the best thing to do at the start. Kind of get a sense of your next few weeks. You don't have to plan the whole course, just the next few weeks. When are you going to study? What's important? How are you going to fit it in?
Now, one of my students emailed me and said, I'm really sorry, but I'm running the Cardiff Half Marathon on the weekend, so I won't be doing anything. And just when you're saying this idea of starting, I'm just thinking there's this idea about being ready and then starting, and then that's as you go on, it's sort of set. But it isn't really like that, because we're learning all the time, and whilst we can prepare and plan, and that's really, really good, it's all about figuring out and wriggling around what's right for you, isn't it?
Absolutely. Things will happen in your life. Things always happen in your life. So you might have decided you're going to do 2 hours on Tuesday evening, and then the boiler breaks, so you've got to sort that out. So it's about being flexible and being comfortable with that flexibility. But you've got to kind of, studying doesn't happen by magic. So you've got to kind of think about spaces in your week when you think you might be able to do it, and how you will react if things change, so you can be flexible.
I think the flexibility is really important, and I picked up on you. Students have obviously been talking about their study spaces, and there's a kind of ideal, and there's then what's actually happens in real life. Ideally, you'll carve out a space that you stay in and you use, and that's your study space, and you can make notes and put up stickies. Not everybody is fortunate enough to be in that position. So if you can, get a study space, and that becomes an important area for you. And if you can't, you just find a way to use, and it might be on the bus, it might be in the cafe, it might be in the library. Use that space in a very focused way to really concentrate. And I think when you are studying with the OU, you can get a lot done in a short period of time. It's surprising. Sometimes students think, oh, I've got to study for a whole day, and actually it exhausts them, and they forget things they've read and stuff. Sometimes half an hour here and half an hour there can really make a difference.
Absolutely. Now, we've had a bit of fun at the Student Hub Live, and we've made a hierarchy of needs, because I thought that our guests could bring something that they think is really important for
Indeed.
students, and then we'd have a bit of fun deciding on who was going to be at the top. So, what do you think should be on this hierarchy then?
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea with a biscuit. Now, I went through my studies, I'm afraid. I used to be 3 stone. I went through my studies. Chocolate biscuits kept me going. Other biscuits are available. And it needn't be a biscuit, and find something much healthier, please. But I think sometimes you just need to reward yourself and keep yourself going and find whatever your equivalent of the chocolate biscuit is. I'm going to let Anactoria speak, but I've got another one to come back to me, Karen.
Okay, you can put them on the hierarchy.
Can I? I'm gonna
You
put
have
it
to
at the
decide
top.
where they go.
Well,
so
does it go with a cup of tea?
I think
it probably
so.
does.
Positioning
You
is
can't have a
everything.
cup of tea without a biscuit, can you? Right, I don't know. We'll balance that and it'll all come down. There we go. Oh, look at that. Right, there we
so
are.
John's going
Top.
straight in at the top.
There we are. Well, I think that's the most important thing.
I'm with you, study buddy.
Yes.
So I study at home in
Yeah.
the evenings when I've finished work, and after I get home and walk my dog, and then he's usually about here
Yeah.
while I study. So
And do you ever study when you're walking the dog?
I don't tend to listen to stuff, but I tend to think about stuff.
Yeah, you
So
think,
it's
you think.
it's really good having that kind of movement and the
Yeah.
exercise and, you know, green spaces. If it's not raining, I do live in Manchester, so, you know,
Yes.
quite often I am sort of under a hood. But no, it's really good to just kind of think about what I've read or think about what's coming up tonight. So, yeah, it's really good thinking time.
I like walking away and thinking, what have I been reading?
Yeah.
And can I remember it?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what can I remember and what can't I remember? Then I go back to it and then I
Yeah.
think, why have I remembered certain things and
what
not
was
others?
important?
Yeah, yeah.
It's about making connections in those times as well, isn't it? It's like, oh, I've just read that. Oh, and that relates to that I did last
Yeah.
week. And that's so it's not always just sitting in your space and studying, but actually your mind can wear all the time and
Yeah.
open up new possibilities.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, absolutely. Michelle and Anaya.
Well, we're having a very funny discussion about how tea is the gateway to biscuits.
That's a strong
My tummy has
philosophical
been rumbly all
picture.
morning. Oh my goodness. You know what? I put on the Student Hub Live that my tummy was rumbly and that my typing was being affected, and voila, here are biscuits.
Very nice.
I suppose we could ask what are people's favourite biscuits, because we've got some shortbread, some Jaffa cakes, some custard creams and some digestives, so maybe we should ask online what the
It
favourite
could,
biscuits are.
well,
Thank you.
other biscuits are available. Well, yes, I know. Michelle, last week you came along, and in fact, I've still got your tea bell here.
I know.
Michelle bought some props, and I'm going to ask you about your worry monster, because she bought this magic bell, and whenever you ring it, it brings tea. It's amazing. Honestly, watch and see. It has to go around this way. What's your worry monster?
Oh, the Worry Monster is absolutely brilliant. Designed for children, but I think it's brilliant for students too. What you do is you write down your worries, you put them inside the monster, you zip them up, you sleep with your monster. In the morning when you wake them up, the worries are all gone. But I think the important thing here is we ask students to put some worries in for us. And I think the important thing is, one of the worries came out is it okay to worry? And I think the answer is, yeah, absolutely. We're all going to worry.
Yeah.
It's what you do with your worry. And maybe you three have some answers about what you can do with worry. We've got some really determined students online. That was something that Priya was pointing out.
So juggling so many things. We've got Juliet. She's been learning piano. She's got 3 children, and her, you know, she's saying, "I won't be beat. I'm going to do this." So you know, so enthusiastic, fantastic, and we're here to support you all the way. So.
Juliet has a bell like that, but her bell makes Prosecco, which I think is much better, Juliet. Although I still think this is fabulous. Our next guest, we've got some students coming along to tell their stories, and Paul's going to come and talk about time management. So people juggling those things at home is very, very common, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so George, what tips have you got for our new students?
Well, I think talking about worries is really. I think we're all going to be worried. I'm starting a course on Saturday, but it's going to be fine. The reason it's going to be fine is because of the network of support that I will have. Obviously, I've got my family and friends at home. We've talked about tutors, but also the other students on the course are such a wonderful support. And you talk to those in tutor group forums and in the module forums and in various other ways and places. But other students who are studying at the same time as you understand. They have the same worries that you do. They've got a looming TMA. They don't understand the complicated bit in that section. So use that community of support, and then a worry shared is a worry halved. And I think that's one of the best things that you can do as a student, is use the people around you.
And you're never more than about 3 people away from someone else who's engaged with the Open University. So the more you talk about, I'm starting my Open University studies, you will find your neighbour 3 doors down didn't know you course 3 years ago, hopefully loved it, but it gives you a reason for having a chat about that, and they will tell you it was okay.
Yeah.
We got there. So
Yeah.
that's good.
It's funny because so often you think you're alone, but actually at the moment there are about 174,000 Open University students all doing different things, you know, in the UK.
And 2 million probably graduates
Yeah.
from the Open
Yeah.
University,
Yeah.
Karen. So people have
Amazing.
engaged.
Yeah.
And every time you watch one of the BBC programmes that finishes with in association with the Open University logos, you'll go, I'm part of that.
Yes.
And that's just such a lovely community to be
is.
part of.
Yeah.
It is.
And we've got some nice giveaways to give you from our broadcast team, because we're involved in some fabulous programmes. Michelle, show people what we'll send them if they send us a picture of their study space or study buddy.
So send us a picture of your study space or study buddy. We have a booklet here called this one is A City in the Making. That's quite interesting, actually. In Milton Keynes, if you haven't come to Milton Keynes, it is a planned city, and I think it's quite interesting. We talked about planning earlier. You need to plan your studies. You need to make sure that you've got things in order, and sequencing is really important. So learn about planning cities. Think about planning your studies. We've got one, we talked about the gateway drug, tea, the gateway drug to biscuits, but we do have one here called Drugs Unwrapped, quite interesting as well. I don't know if there's much tea in here, but...
Possibly not.
Possibly not, no.
I don't know, I think it's addictive. And then we have Understanding Nature, Landscapes and Lives. So 3 really interesting books here. Oh, some lovely pictures in this one. So send us your pictures of your pets, of your study space, or of things that you think might motivate other students.
Brilliant. And send those to studenthub@open.ac.uk. Well, Karen, excellent name, hasn't bought biscuits in years, but is going to add those to her shopping list. So I am sorry, Karen. We will talk. In fact, we did an excellent session about food to study with the other day, and glycemic indexes and how important bananas are. So don't necessarily think the biscuits have it all. John, you said you were going to show us one last thing.
I want students to really think about, and it might be that they need to explore this, what sort of ambience do you want when you're studying? And you might look at some old-fashioned study guides, or even people will carry this from school, and they were told you've got to study in silence and you've got to really concentrate and really focus. And for some students that will really work, and sometimes I know when I'm doing things I do want silence and I can do it. But for me there's also a kind of familiarity about listening to music while you study. And I think think about the kind of music that might support you. So nothing that's going to disturb you when you're studying, and maybe you don't have the volume too loud. I don't know about that, but I certainly find listening to music while I'm studying is helpful and keeps me motivated. And also that particularly if you use something old-fashioned like a CD or a vinyl album, as I'm still listening to, there's that, you've got that time thing as well. You've got maybe about half an hour or an hour of study time there. So I would definitely put, if I may, listen to your music on the hierarchy of needs while you're studying.
A little bit of Bowie there.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that, but yes, but particularly Bowie's electronica from the kind of late 70s, I find particularly helpful.
Excellent. Well, that's wonderful. George, John and Anak, thank you so much for introducing people to the AU from our lovely Access team, which is so friendly.
We're the best.
We're the best. We are the best. I'm in the Access team as well. And so is my next colleague, Sarah, who's going to talk about getting set up for Module Start after we've had a student story. But we asked you all how you were feeling. And let's take a look and see what you said. Just getting that ready for you at the moment. Nope, they're all having biscuits backstage. I don't know, you can't get this stuff. Right, here we are. Nervous, excited, hungry, prepared, engaged, busy, frisky, ready to start, nervous of exams, tired. That will be someone's dog, no doubt. Unsure of it, sleepy, can't cope.
Is good.
Okay, so some anxiety there, and as we've said, Of course, that's very, very normal because you don't know what's ahead, but it is exciting. And there are so many people here to support you. And today we're going to tell you about those avenues of support from people like your tutor, staff at the Open University as well, and your student support team. We've got a special session for them. And in fact, many people on our hot desk today are from the student support team as well, so they're best placed to answer a lot of the questions you've got. So that's okay, but hopefully we're going to alleviate some of those nerves and anxieties and hope you feel a lot better. Right, we're on campus. Many of you haven't been to our campus, and so we're going to show you a little bit about it. Dan Weinbrand gives us an introductory tour of the campus in a series of short videos that he and I made in the summer. So let's show you a bit of the campus, and then I'll be back with a student story. See you soon.